on Prime Crime.
I ran outside and called the police, and our nightmare started.
A teen girl vanishes in the night.
All you're focused on is finding your daughter. You just want to find your kid.
And evil may be right around the corner.
You just wish that someone had recognized that they had a ticking time bomb in their midst.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down the most high-profile and memorable true crime cases. We cover some truly heinous acts here on the show, and our next story is really no different. But what makes this one especially chilling is the who and the why.
It was a very unusual day for us because Stacy and I, as most parents, were typically up early. We were sworn to stay into our room because Tristan and Sophia were going to make breakfast for Stacy for Mother's Day.
Mother's Day 2021, St. John's, Florida. What should be a happy time of celebration for the Bailey family becomes a day of terror.
I walked out and Sophia was making breakfast by herself, and I was like, "Where's Tristan?" And she's like, "She's still sleeping." And then my son came downstairs. I asked him to go upstairs and to wake up Tristan for breakfast. He came back. Then he's like, "Mom, listen, I know I'm blind, but I didn't see her up there." And then it instantaneously hit me. Sheer panic.
On Saturday, Tristan had a normal family day. She went to dinner with her family. She visited one of her sisters that night. Unbeknownst to the family, she had sort of made some loose plans to hang out with friends later that night.
But 13-year-old Tristan Bailey never came home.
I ran upstairs and went to her room, and she wasn't there. I went to the bathroom. I went to our TV room upstairs. She wasn't there. Everyone just started running to every single room. I ran outside and called the police, and our nightmare started.
That sort of started the timeline of law enforcement getting involved, and started as a missing child investigation. So many times with those types of calls, especially with a teenager, a lot of times it's a runaway. So they are treated serious until it's deemed that they aren't.
We had a great dinner with my son, Tristan and Sophia, and our granddaughter, and then we left dinner and went to see Alexis and her new kittens.
I remember Tristan immediately ran into the kitten room. She loves any kind of animal.
We went home, and I actually was sitting at our dining room table falling asleep, and the three of them, Tegan and Sophia and Tristan, were up and just saying, "I love you," and gone to bed.
Investigators learned that Tristan left the house after FaceTiming with someone.
Her family didn't know that she had left the house, and she went off with a boy.
She went out and went over to a friend's house by the name of Trey, and his friend, Aiden Fucci, was there. And she hung out at Trey's house a little bit that night.
It soon becomes clear that Tristan leaving her house would have horrifying consequences.
Sorry, can you tell me what's going on today? So I heard there was a missing girl. We see the whole neighborhood's been abuzz. People have been looking for her. The sheriffs have been around, helicopters flying. My wife had mentioned maybe checking in the woods over here along the end of the cul-de-sac and at the pond into the property next to us.
A neighbor who lived in the community was going to go out for a run, and he knew, there was a missing child. His wife had mentioned to him, check the woods at the end of the cul-de-sac. Kids would go back there and use it for different things, hang out, things like that.
I finished my run and I walked around through the woods, just a last sweep. And when I came out of the fence at the southern end of the pond, I saw a dead girl there. As soon as I saw her, I stopped and called 911.
Unfortunately, when she was found, it was very clear it was a homicide. At that point, we just knew we had a girl that was, we didn't know the full extent at all of the number of stab wounds, but it was pretty clear she was stabbed.
Tristan was stabbed 114 times. Most of the wounds were defensive wounds, so she put up a fight. She fought back. It was a bloody, awful crime scene.
There wasn't a lot in the scene, essentially. It was her and some of her personal items and effects, her vape and her cell phone and jewelry, and I think some money there on the ground. No murder weapon or anything right there, but just her, laying in the woods.
I actually was in the front yard, and I had a lot of my friends surrounding me, but I remember the police walking up to me and telling me that I needed to go inside with them. I begged them not to take me inside. I remember collapsing in my front yard, pleading for them not to tell me what I knew was coming. They shared the news. There's nothing that's more devastating than that.
Tristan came from a close-knit family. She was one of 5 siblings and with 2 loving parents, and they called themselves the Bailey 7.
Tristan was a 13-year-old, probably average middle school girl. She was a very outgoing, bubbly girl. She was described by everybody I talked to as everyone's friend.
Tristan was just completely and totally vibrant. As a daughter, she was absolutely phenomenal. Our family is so diverse in what their interests were, and she was the common thread that went throughout. She was just somebody that was a bundle of energy, yet also a bundle of love. She was an excellent student, was actually just talking about maybe going on and becoming a doctor. She was starting to get some career aspirations along that path. Tristan was a very active, competitive cheerleader. Cheerleading was her first kind of love.
How long you've known Tristan?
I have a group of friends, which is me, Aiden, and his girlfriend, Sophie. We're all pretty close. Tristan, I would hang out with her more alone, or with, if I had somebody staying the night, she'd come over and it'd be the 3 of us.
You start looking at anybody in her life. It was very early through her friends that they're providing anyone that they know that she potentially would have snuck out to be with.
During your conversations with her, has she talked recently about wanting to run away?
She said that one time after she got caught by her sister, she's like, oh my God, I want to run away. She got caught by her sister, sneaking out.
One of those friends is 14-year-old Trey, who went to school with Tristan. He and another boy from school, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci, were believed to be the last ones with Tristan the night she disappeared.
Trey was Aiden Fucci's best friend. Aiden was a classmate of Tristan's, and they probably knew of each other. Trey knew Tristan, and Aiden had seen her with him.
When did you first meet Aiden and start to be friends with him?
I've known Aiden for about a year. We became friends within the first 5 minutes.
Can you describe Aiden's attitude, his personality, his demeanor?
Didn't care about anything. He was a really big pothead. He was really chill.
Aiden had a history of documented behavioral issues, some academic issues. We found out through talking to his friends that there was a lot of drug use that he was into.
He had just come to our school. It was not a name that we ever heard in her circle of friends, and they only had one class together. According to the teachers, they didn't even speak to each other in class.
That particular night, Aiden wanted her to come over. He didn't even have her contact information. So he got the information from Trey, hey, I want to invite that girl Tristan over, and then did.
What all happened Saturday night?
Saturday night, Aiden came over around 8 after he got done hanging out with Sophie. So me and him were outside, and then I was like, Aiden, do you want Tristan to come over? And he was just like, I don't care, sure. So I called her, invited her over.
They all live in the same neighborhood. Tristan left her home, unbeknownst to her family, and went over to Trey's house.
Her sister caught her sneaking out that night. And then she got there, she was freaking out. She was like, oh my God, she caught me, she's gonna tell my parents. And then Aiden's just like, you're good, you're fine. Nothing's gonna happen.
And then later that evening, Trey wanted to go to bed, and so he kicked them out of the house.
I told them to leave. They left, and then I just went back to sleep.
Do you know about what time Aiden and Tristan left?
Between 1 and 1:10.
Did they say anything about where they were going to go after they left?
I just told them to leave and then rolled back over and heard the door open and they both left.
What's the next thing that happened?
That night, he never texted me, never called me.
So you don't want to talk to us?
I told y'all what happened, but I can't really tell y'all anymore because I don't really know what happened.
It's Mother's Day weekend, 2021, St. John's, Florida. Police are investigating the disappearance of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey, who never came home after hanging out with friends late Saturday night. Her body is located the next day near a pond in a wooded area adjacent to the neighborhood where she lived. She had been stabbed a total of 114 times. Police begin their investigation by speaking with the friend she was believed to be with the night she disappeared. Tristan's friend Trey shed some light on that Sunday morning.
Woke up around 9. I thought Aiden was home, Tristan was home. I called Aiden and I was just like, what happened last night? He just said he dropped her off at the front of her neighborhood and he went home.
Law enforcement was checked out with them pretty early that morning, I believe 10 or 11 a.m. They were some of the first names, if not the first.
I was like, the cops are on the way to your house. I was just like, they were coming to talk to you. That's when I was like a little bit of panic in his face, just a little bit.
Police realize they need to speak with Aiden. Maybe he can shed some light on what happened.
Are you willing to kind of give me a statement about what's going on?
Yeah, so we're at Trey's house, and then I stayed there until probably like 1:50 a.m. And then I was really late to be home, so I just had to leave, or else my mom would like seriously just kill me.
He had changed his story from, I didn't see her, to I saw her and walked her home, basically, and then changed it to, well, we got in an argument and I pushed her down.
We started walking home, and then next to like where that brick wall starts up there,
Okay.
is where like she touched my and I like pushed her off me real hard, and then I just kind of walked away out of anger.
As the day went on and the night went on, we found more and more video surveillance, and you could actually start following them through the neighborhood. And so then we knew he was the last one with her.
A short period of time later, Aiden was caught running on video by himself, holding his shoes, and there was no Tristan in the video.
When you have a lot of the witnesses, a lot of the people involved, and they're minors, it's very easy for what somebody heard and what something goes through as rumor versus the truth to diverge.
Police detain Aiden and Trey in the back of a cruiser, and that's when Aiden does something very concerning.
And eventually they all pull up in the front of the house and they move me into the squad car with Aiden. He was like, let's make memories. Like, you make a Snapchat memory and you save it, so we remember whenever like all this happened.
It's in a top car, cuz. She tripping, dude. Fucking so right on this bed. Oh my god. Damn, dude has fucking flashbangs and shit right there.
Aiden was put in the back of a police car to be questioned and posted on Snapchat. A real self-serving picture of him, like defiant and pretending that he didn't know anything about this.
We're having fun in a top car. Yep. Tristan. What's up, guys? Yep. Tristan, if you walk out the damn...
When you see this in a month...
I made one and I was just like, Tristan, whenever you do come back and they find you, I'm gonna be so mad at you. I had to sit in the back of a cop car for like 30 minutes. I didn't know anything happened.
His friends started messaging him. One friend messaged him that you know why she went missing, that you know what happened here.
Were there any other conversations that you had with Aiden?
He made a joke about us being in prison. And I was like, that's not funny. He was like, wouldn't it be funny if like we both went to the same prison? And I was like, no, not really.
Looking at his behavior, it just felt downright sadistic, disgusting the way that he behaved.
Disbelief. I think to know that somebody could be so cold, and I just don't even have words for it. It was hard to watch that.
Let me see your phone. Thank you. Take his phone too for now. We're gonna be holding on to your phones, all right, buddy?
Hey Siri, text Dream Girl. They took my phone. I'm using Siri, and I love you. Bye. Hey Siri, text Dream Girl, I can't see your text. The phone's in the front seat. I'm talking through the glass. Hey Siri, text Dream Girl, please stick with me through this.
Just had a complete and total arrogance, just a lack of care of human life.
What's this place?
It's a holding room.
Once he's brought into the station, Aiden stops talking to authorities. But when his parents come into the room, their recorded conversation reveals a lot more.
You know they found this girl, right?
Where?
In our neighborhood, down our main street.
Is she good?
No,
No,
she's not.
she's dead.
Parents asked to see him, so he was placed in a room with them, and they just started, asking questions.
This is very important. It's all on you right now.
What is my problem?
You were
You
the
were
last
the
one
last
with
one
her.
seen with her. So right now, it's facing you right now, son. So however you talk, you breathe, you think, then you respond.
This is very serious, Aiden. You can't act like I don't know.
I think it gave a lot of insight into his character and who he is. His whole attitude was very nonchalant. You're 14 years old and this is your classmate and your friend and you were with her last night.
Did you kiss or do anything with this girl?
Be honest as you can.
Yeah, I kissed her.
Anything further?
Mm-mm.
So your DNA is going to be on her?
His story was that they got to this particular intersection and they had kissed, and then she grabbed his private part and he pushed her down.
She pushed her down and then you walked away. We shouldn't be talking. You walked away, you came straight home. You didn't turn back around and see where she went?
Did they ever say why it took you so long to get home?
Mm-hmm. Just walked around.
By yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just walk really slow home?
Mm-hmm.
She hit her head, but I just left her there and claimed to have just walked home after that.
And he doesn't get home until 2 hours later. And what was he doing in those 2 hours? Well, he said he was just walking around.
Do you know if this girl got picked up?
I told him about her dealer.
You think she got picked up by him?
Probably.
Aiden introduced that into the mix, that there was some person that sold, and it wasn't even necessarily her. I mean, he said that was her dealer.
She said she wasn't coming home. She said she's gonna find somebody to stay at
After
their
you left her
house.
there walking? Like, you think she got picked up after that? She just kept walking?
Probably.
Here is this model young person who is beloved in her community, who has a tight-knit family, who is a great student, a cheerleader, and somehow she disappears and goes to a drug dealer's house. Didn't make any sense.
Did you see this 20-year-old kid? You didn't get in his car?
I never even saw him before. I just heard about him.
That night?
Oh no, I've heard about him many times.
This is serious, Aiden.
It's very serious.
This is no joke. This is your whole life. Your whole life.
And ours.
And ours. And your brothers and sister.
Mother's Day weekend 2021, St. John's, Florida. Authorities set their sights on 14-year-old Aiden Fucci in the savage stabbing of one of his classmates, Tristan Bailey, a 13-year-old girl found dead in the woods near the neighborhood in which the two teens lived. Aiden is questioned several times by police, particularly since surveillance footage captures Fucci and Bailey walking together late in the evening before she's killed. But when he's brought in to the police station, the only people he's talking to are his parents. And then, something else caught investigators' attention.
We saw your shoes were off on the camera. All your shoes off.
Because my feet were hurting. And the shoes give me blisters.
We're gonna go home and get your clothes.
What clothes?
The clothes you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be nothing on those clothes, right?
Yes, sir.
I think ultimately what was important from that interaction with mostly his mom, was he admitted one thing. She basically asked him what he was wearing when he came home.
You wore khakis or blue jeans?
And blue jeans.
You sure it's not normal?
I think so. What?
When we looked on the camera, you were wearing khakis, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said jeans. She's trying to insinuate to him that, no, you were wearing khakis. When you look back at our surveillance video, all the daytime video, it's very clear he's wearing jeans. And then Trey told us he left the house in jeans.
They're gonna keep him here, right?
I don't know. They don't have no evidence that I know of yet. Unless you know any other thing I don't know. Nothing to worry about, right?
Mm-mm.
Aiden's parents wanted to know the truth from Aiden, but they didn't want law enforcement to know the truth.
Are you not scared?
Not really.
Not really?
I'm a little scared.
If he didn't do nothing, I'd be worried about.
They were telling Aiden in the interrogation room to find a story and stick with it. They were more concerned about their son's ability to get away with it than taking responsibility.
I still see why you kissed her and then all of a sudden she grabbed you and then you pushed her.
You better find your story and stay to it.
Yep. And they don't like all that switching back and forth stuff.
Police dig even deeper into Aiden. He may be suspicious, but could this 14-year-old be a killer? Authorities speak with his girlfriend.
There was a really rough time for him at home. He would talk about that a lot. He would tell me his mom would tell him he was a disappointment. He felt neglected by her, that he felt neglected by both of his parents, that he was the least favorite in his family.
Sophie was the girlfriend of Aiden Fucci at the time. She's one of the ones that told us all of his thoughts and desires. She was probably one of the main people he confided in.
He told me that sometimes his dad would hit him, and his dad never really let him show emotions.
He feels worthless, perhaps suicidal, that he was having thoughts in his head to commit some sort of violence.
He had anger issues. He told me that he really hated getting angry. He hated doing things that he didn't mean to do when he got angry.
Have you ever seen Aiden get violent with anybody?
Yes.
Sophie knew that Aiden was deeply troubled, but she never believed that he would actually commit such a horrific act against himself or others.
He was into satanic, evil, violent type of drawings. He would do them himself. He would ask other friends to draw them for him.
Aiden told me that he had voices in his head that told him those things, that told him that he was worthless and a disappointment.
Someone who is disturbed enough to have satanic drawings and other ways that he was lashing out for help, but at that point, there was simply no one who could help him.
Did Aiden ever discuss anything to you that would make you think he wanted to try to use a knife on somebody?
Aiden talked about killing people a lot.
We always teach people, if you see something, say something. But when you're a young person and another person is lashing out verbally, you sometimes just chalk it up to braggadocio, that he's just talking smack.
Aiden and I had a dark sense of humor, and I never took him seriously. He talked about wanting to kill me. Sometimes he would take his knife and pretend to stab me with it.
Did you ever hear Aiden discuss having a certain plan that he wanted to carry out? Did he ever discuss in detail, like, this is how I would do something, or this is what I want to do?
Yeah, he did.
The difficult part of it is there were people who knew what he was contemplating and what he was planning.
That's one thing that kept coming out is we didn't think he was being for real. But that's not even funny.
In this case, it was real. He didn't just talk it, he did it.
He said that he would just walk at night and find like a random person walking to and just drag them in the woods and stab them. He said I should expect it within the month.
And when was that he said this?
I think this month.
That's one reason why investigators were able to focus on Aiden because of the words he said, which now made sense.
Authorities are gathering evidence that suggests Aiden Fucci may be Tristan Bailey's killer.
It's not like him
What's not like him?
to kill someone.
It's May 2021, and police are investigating the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey in St. John's, Florida. The young teen was found stabbed to death on Mother's Day. Their prime suspect is Tristan's classmate, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci, who officials say was the last person seen with her on doorbell and surveillance camera footage around the neighborhood they lived in. Investigators speak with several of Tristan's friends, and there's one more shocking connection between the young cheerleader's murder and Aiden Fucci.
Did Aiden carry any personal items on him?
Aiden kept knives for protection. He always had a knife on him if he wasn't at school.
We found out he was very obsessed with knives. He had two in particular that he had named.
He called one picker, and then he called that one poker.
Did it look like this?
Yeah, that's the same knife.
The murder weapon was found in the pond right nearby, and the tip of that knife was found in Tristan's head.
Everything investigators have learned leads to a search of the Fucci's home.
We located shoes that were hidden that tested positive for blood, a shirt of his, and a pair of jeans in a hamper that were damp, and then a lot of those items tested positive for blood. The drain trap in his bathroom sink, we were able to get her DNA on that knife, even though it had been in water for a period of time.
The evidence was pretty overwhelming that he was lying all along. She didn't just disappear. She didn't just run to some drug dealer's house, never to be seen again. He was directly involved with her death.
The St. John Sheriff's Office, they realized there was no sleep going on in our house. There was panic going on, and we were also in fear, not knowing how this could happen.
Aiden Fucci is arrested and charged with murder, and due to the brutality of the crime, he's set to be tried as an adult, facing 40 years to life in prison.
They showed up at our door, and I'm 3:40 in the morning, and he told us that they had him. It was one of the first of many shifts with all of a sudden that knowing we just needed to focus on our grieving.
It's horrific seeing a young child like that killed, right? Number one, and then to think that another child could have done it was awful.
Yet Fucci wasn't the only one who faced charges.
From their own home surveillance system, we discovered that Crystal went up to his room and located a pair of jeans in a hamper that she felt had blood on them. And then you see where she is taking them into a bathroom and clearly washing them in a sink. What that was is tampering with evidence, and we chose to charge her.
If you want to know why someone can become Aiden Fucci, where it's a cry for help, just look to the mother, who then enabled him, who quickly tried to wash away the blood on his jeans. The fact that they had cameras meant that there was more evidence against Aiden and evidence against the mother.
Seeing what she saw on his jeans and knowing that my child was missing and he was the last one seen with her, I just have no words for it.
Nearly 2 years after Tristan Bailey's murder, Aiden Fucci is set to go on trial. However, as jury selection is about to begin, he makes a life-changing move.
That morning we were set to pick a jury, but it's 9:30. I'm sitting back in chambers and we still have no idea whether it's happening or not.
Your Honor, on behalf of Aiden Fucci, we enter a change of plea at this time.
Mr. Fucci, is it your desire to enter a plea of guilty to one count of first-degree murder?
Yes, sir.
Part of me was shocked. I knew there would still be a lengthy sentencing hearing because he was a juvenile, but you're happy that the family doesn't have to go through a trial.
There was a lot of people coming up to us with a feeling that we would have a great sense of relief. We had already gone through and prepared for all the potentially horrific things that could come up. So some of the things that we could have been spared, we were never spared.
With the death penalty off the table because Fucci was a juvenile, now the question is, how long would he spend in prison?
What he tried to do was to plead guilty and then hope that his guilty plea and his sudden expression of remorse would convince the judge to sentence him to something less than life in prison.
Everybody knows the saying that pictures are worth 1,000 words. I know you will never forget those photos. There were 114 stab wounds. 49 of those were defensive. She was fighting. There will be juveniles that will deserve a life sentence, and Aiden Fucci is one of those. That was sort of the goal, to point out and put on evidence of why this murder, he is a juvenile, but this murder is very, very different. It was not impetuous, and he needs to be locked up for as long as possible to protect all of society.
The behavior is so unusual in this case for a 14-and-a-half-year-old. It's hard to know if immaturity played any role whatsoever. He's a really unique person, I would say, in a bad way. He's demonstrating some things that I think are extremely clinically concerning that we usually do not see in youth. His prognosis is poor for rehabilitation.
When it comes to juvenile cases in Florida, if you're going to give someone life in prison, the judge has to make an individualized determination based on the young person's upbringing and the facts and circumstances of his life.
We can't go backwards in time. We can't undo the action. The only thing that we can do today is answer the question of a sentence. And that's whether Aiden would be sentenced to life in prison or 40 years. 40 years is not a light sentence. It is not an easy sentence. It still is punishment.
I think our biggest hurdle, if we had one, was honestly probably his age.
He was not mentally well. He was not mature for his age. Children do not make sound decisions or wise decisions. Nothing in this offense points to maturity.
You have to jump through hoops in a juvenile case to get someone life in prison that you don't have to jump through in an adult case.
Part of what Dr. Pritchard's relying on is the actions in terms of 114 stab wounds. In his opinion, that shows premeditation. How do you disagree with that?
I don't understand it. You mean Aiden Fucci sat down someplace and said, I'm going to stab this girl 114 times? Is that what's being said? I don't see how you can say anything about his impetuosity at the time of the offense without making assumptions about what's going on in his state of mind and his head. I think that given mentorship programs, counseling, people reaching out to him, that there's a likelihood that he could be rehabilitated.
And for arguably the first time, Aiden showed some emotion when his grandmother spoke.
I wish I could change what happened, and we pray for you every day. I pray for you every day. I hope that you find peace somewhere, and we lost a child too.
It was a lot of conflicting emotions. When she got up on that stand, my heart hurt for her.
Is that the boy you knew?
He's not the boy that I knew. I don't know what happened. I mean, he's always been good and happy. I'm so sorry. He has a good family, and we don't condone what happened, and we're very sorry for your loss.
It was the first time that we had heard from anybody immediately closely connected, any type of emotion, remorse, or anything. So it went a long way for us. It also just points out the fact that when you have these people committing these crimes, they destroy multiple families, and they destroy their own family as well.
In his own words, Fucci actually wrote an apology letter to Tristan's family.
We were given it in the middle of sentencing. He wrote it. It looks like an apology letter. It's very simple. It's not very in-depth. You know, in the end, I think he's probably sorry he got caught.
The letter said in part, quote, "I'm sorry that you didn't get to know her that long. I know my apology will not fix anything or bring her back, but I hope it helps in some way.
It struck me as odd that what Aiden apologized for was us not having more time with her, and still didn't hit me that he was really, truly sorry for killing her.
Maybe I'm jaded from being a prosecutor, but I don't believe a word someone like Aiden Fucci says. I mean, now he's remorseful, but only after he faces life in prison. It's these deathbed conversions that you see from people. When they finally realize they're gonna pay a major price, then all of a sudden they express remorse because they have to, not because they want to.
Before the sentence was handed down, Tristan's family was given an opportunity to speak.
114. This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure. It really almost put into perspective. I know for us, sitting there in that 2 minutes it took to drop stones, just how much she probably had to endure.
I add this stone for the hope and belief I had in people being good that died the day that Aiden Fucci murdered my sister.
You, Aiden Fucci, decided to overpower a 5'3" innocent 13-year-old girl. How much more of a coward could you possibly be? We are forever Tristan Bailey strong.
The family's victim impact statements were some of the most powerful, if not the most, that I've ever seen.
Aiden Fucci, you betrayed us all. Your deplorable actions are unforgivable, and I will pray every day that you stay in prison for the rest of your life. Your Honor, Aiden Fucci took the very life that I brought into this world. Please do not for 1 second think that he could be rehabilitated at any point. He is beyond saving.
This crime had no motive. It was done for no other reason than to satisfy this defendant's internal desire to feel what it was like to kill someone. There is only one appropriate sentence in this case. Mr. Fucci, having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I adjudicate you guilty of the premeditated first-degree murder of Tristan Bailey. I sentence you to life in prison, eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
It was the maximum sentence that a judge could have given a juvenile. Aiden was given life in prison. Hopefully he never sees the light of day again.
There was no motive. He just wanted to do it. And I think that's one of the most difficult parts for us. There's nothing she did. There was no reason for the crime. He just wanted to kill somebody.
It's hard to equate it with the feeling. A lot of people ask us if there's any sense of closure, and just given the age at the time, 25 years, it's going to be reviewed. As a family, we're going to have to endure what possibly could come up again.
That may be the end for Aiden Fucci's case, but there was still the matter of Aiden's mother.
Crystal Smith's charge of tampering with evidence, it's a third-degree felony. So in Florida, it's punishable by up to 5 years. We reached a plea agreement with her.
Crystal was given a month in jail and 5 years probation. It was a sentence that perhaps wasn't as strong as some would like, but she pled guilty. She took responsibility for her despicable actions. In this tight-knit community, she'll always be known as the woman who raised, enabled, and covered up for a monster.
I think one of the most special moments that I had with her was the weekend before. Sorry, hold on. The weekend before she passed away, we were down in Orlando at one of her cheer competitions, and all her friends were there. She chose to be with me instead of her friends. She was like, "Mom, let's just go to Disney. Let's just, the two of us." And We did, and we had the best day ever. And I will forever be grateful for those memories with her.
The foundation is really, it's where we have our energy, and it's going to give us a chance to put passion into who Tristan was and what she did, but also what we've endured as a family, and hoping to make it so that, unfortunately, when other families go through horrific experiences, they don't have to endure some of the same things we did.
There is one positive that's come from this absolutely awful case, and that is the passing of a new law in the state of Florida, something that was backed by the Bailey family. It is a law that now limits the release of crime scene photos involving a child, a very tough issue for Tristan's loved ones during this case. And while that may be a small win, Tristan's family, and all of us, may never really understand why her life was taken in such a brutal fashion by one of her peers. But the Bailey family hopes that people focus on the good that comes from tragedy and on the impact that Tristan made in her short 13 years of life. That's all we have for you here on this episode of Prime Crime. Until next time, stay safe. On Prime Crime.
My husband's deceased. There's been a tragedy at my home. He's stiff and he's wounded. He might have had a heart attack.
An unconventional relationship ends in tragedy.
He poured himself a drink, really heavy, and then he started spewing. Didn't realize how much rage was going on in there.
Leaving behind a broken family and a wife facing serious questions.
He would often say, everything will be okay as long as I hide the steak knives. Well, oh my God, he didn't hide the steak knives.
Hey there, everybody, I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down some of the most compelling and memorable true crime cases. Marriages at times can be pretty rocky, right? From those little tiffs to the serious arguments, that's normal. Yet the relationship in this story is quite different. It goes from a rather unique beginning to a deadly end.
911, you need police, call your medical. I don't know. My husband's deceased. There's been a tragedy at my home.
It's around 9:30 in the morning on January 12th, 2019, when 911 dispatchers receive a frantic call from a woman in Winter Park, Florida.
Why do you believe he's deceased? Because he's stiff and he's wounded. He might have had a heart attack. I don't know.
That's the voice of 45-year-old Danielle Redlick, who says she discovered her husband, 65-year-old Michael Redlick, dead on the floor of their home.
It was just a bizarre case. Initially, when she called 911, she said that her husband had succumbed to a heart attack.
But then she had a different story. She said that Michael stabbed himself to death. She was in fear of her life.
He was actually choking me and trying to suffocate me first. I actually went for the knife, and he was screaming, "What are you going to do, stab me?" And he grabbed it. And that's when he did it. He made a motion. He stabbed himself, and I ran into the bathroom, and when I came out, I was just lying in blood.
You say you stabbed himself?
Couldn't I? Correct, yes. I tried to hurt myself this morning. It doesn't look good for me.
In order to understand how we got here, we have to take a step back to the unusual beginning of Danielle and Michael's relationship.
I first met Mike, I think it was 1996. He'd come to the golf course and say, I think I'm in love with this woman, Kathleen, but she's dying of cancer. I think I'm gonna marry her. You're gonna marry her? Yeah, the benefits that she has are terrible. She's gonna have better treatment, better care, and that's why he married Kathleen. I'm sure they were in love, but he was all about helping her out. After Kathleen passed away, Mike was basically providing for two of Kathleen's kids, Danielle and her younger brother.
Michael Redlick was an executive for various sports teams, so he had a prominent job, doing well, making good money.
She found him somewhat exciting. You know, he was 20 years her senior, certainly had more financial resources, and it sounds like he was able to take her out and do different things with her.
Somewhere down the road, the relationship started. He married his stepdaughter. We warned him against it. Like, what are you thinking? In a weird way, it's a love story that most people wouldn't approve of, but it became a love story, a real love story. Well, that's the biggest mistake Mike made in his life.
Fast forward 15 years. Michael is dead, and Danielle is taken to the hospital to be evaluated. Police pay her a visit to try and piece together what exactly occurred here.
We just kind of want to get some type of information as to what happened. If you're willing to talk to us, that'd be good.
I'm perfectly willing to say what happened.
At the hospital, Danielle was concerned about her kids and about herself. She was worried of what would happen to her and who would tell the kids that Michael was dead.
I'm just really concerned about my kids knowing that their dad's gone. Well, who tells them this? My husband's gone.
We're just going to tell them that their father passed away and that you're in the hospital under care. No details will be given out.
I can't believe this.
What struck me was there were some times that she shed some tears, but I thought that she was rather calm and cool and collected to be in that situation.
What are people being told?
We haven't talked to anyone. We wanted to talk to you first if you're willing to talk to us.
I mean, I'm definitely willing. I'm just afraid. Should I have legal representation? Is that no one's even telling me?
That's up to you.
This may seem odd, but it's the police that are interviewing you.
So I understand you say I'm not being held, but the doctors are evaluating my...
You're not being held by the police department.
But the hospital?
Correct.
You know, it seems like a normal question, but she did ask if I was free to leave. Am I under arrest, right? So she must have known that there was some suspicion.
Yet there is much more to Michael and Danielle's relationship. Accusations and allegations.
You want me to describe what happened?
I want you to tell me whatever you feel comfortable telling me.
Thursday, my husband was very belligerent and distraught.
Well, at first the relationship was fine, but then over time there were allegations of controlling behaviors and that he had a drinking problem.
He was following me around the house and I was trying not to engage. I locked myself in the bathroom. He broke the door open. He was scaring me, so I decided to leave. And he was drinking heavily.
I'm not a rocket scientist, but wait a minute. There's 8 empty bottles of wine in the garbage. Mike didn't like wine. So those bottles got emptied by somebody other than Mike.
We had some issues last year. He basically cheated on me, and it was a big, long, drawn-out thing. And I found a slew of emails of him carrying on with another woman, and it just crushed me.
Mike was trying to understand, and he must have been going to some meetings with Al-Anon, and along the way, he met a woman. They became friends. Friends. It was somebody that he could talk to about dealing with her. No infidelity at all on Mike's part. I'm convinced of that.
He found a text from another man to me. That really angered him.
Danielle had social media messages. You know, it was kind of right in the middle of were these communications for a social nature or was she looking for employment? She alluded to the fact that she was looking to further her career. And it sounds like he was somewhat jealous that she also was interested in other men.
Thursday, I ended up leaving the home to avoid any kind of distress in front of the kids. My daughter, the two of them were yelling at each other, and I said, okay, that's it, we're leaving. So I took her with me to a friend's house. And my son wanted to stay. He was belligerent, but he wasn't being physically harmful to the kids.
That's where things began to go somewhat awry in the marriage. She complained that as a result, he was both physically and emotionally abusive. And unfortunately, we live in a society where domestic violence still occurs. And we're not so quick to disbelieve a woman who is smaller than her husband.
At his funeral, Danielle delivered the eulogy and told everyone in the congregation that Mike was her best friend, and talked about all the things that he had done for her and the kids. No way, if you listen to that eulogy, you could ever think that this guy would lay a hand on her. Everyone in the congregation at his funeral is looking at her delivering a eulogy, and they're all saying the same thing. Why isn't she behind bars?
It's January 2019, and 45-year-old Danielle Redlick is being questioned after calling 911, saying her stepfather turned husband, 65-year-old Michael Redlick, died in their Winter Park, Florida home. After telling dispatchers several versions of what happened, investigators talked to Danielle at the hospital, where she says Michael was aggressive and intimidating.
He continued on his day Friday to work, and I continued my day. I got some snide texts from him during the day. We attended our son's football game together that evening, and it was after the football game where once again he poured himself a drink, and really heavy, and it just started from there. He started spewing. I didn't realize how much rage was going on in there.
She had previously filed a police report against Michael for domestic abuse, and because of that, it led credence to her claim later that she was in fear of her life and that Michael was at it again.
But Danielle starts to shut down.
I think that's about what I'm most comfortable talking about currently.
With Danielle not giving police much to go on, days later they return to the Redlicks' home, this time with a warrant in hand.
Can you get the kids away, Dad? Please.
Yes.
Just get the kids.
Danielle, I just want to talk to you, okay? Right now you're not under arrest, but we just secured you for our safety. We do have a search warrant for your house, and I also have a search warrant for your DNA.
While the detective collects the DNA sample, Danielle seems shocked to learn what investigators may be thinking.
2 buccal swabs, saliva standards from Danielle Justine Redlick, which is believed to be evidence relevant to proving that a felony crime has been committed. Death investigation, second-degree murder are located in the person.
You're saying the saliva, when there was resuscitation done, that's second-degree murder?
No, I'm collecting saliva standards from you.
Because of the resuscitation?
Because of other evidence that we have collected.
She also said that she tried to save Michael's life, giving him CPR, and passed out because of her Herculean efforts.
She tried CPR and couldn't find her phone to call 911. I think that's somebody dancing and just changing the story as much as she could.
So you're saying that once this DNA is confirmed as mine, I'm being charged with second-degree murder? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm collecting this to be tested. From what we collected from the house, we need to be able to differentiate your DNA from your husband's DNA.
That's when Danielle starts getting defiant.
What the heck are you guys looking for? I don't understand this. Tell you what freaking happened. I don't understand. What are you looking for? Can you tell me what they're looking for? I might be able to help. Is that a no?
We also have a search warrant to collect any other evidence that we think is necessary.
I'm trying to charge me with I did not murder my husband. Please, I don't understand this jargon.
From what I understand, you live directly across the street from the Redlicks.
Correct.
Little did Danielle know there were others who for a long time noticed issues between her and Michael, issues that become critical in understanding the complexity of this case.
The whole neighborhood knows that they fought, verbally at least, and physically out in front of the house.
Police speak with the Redlicks' neighbors and learn even more about the tumultuous relationship.
We are very aware of the bickering and fighting and that type of thing. Most of the time it was screaming at one another, but primarily it was her screaming at him.
These are two people that were not getting along. The relationship started off in a very strange manner, and they probably should have never been together in the first place.
When you hear them fighting outside, did you ever hear the nature of what they were arguing about, or just kind of little bits and pieces?
Well, I think a couple times she screamed, "Get out of here," and that type of thing, but not to the extent of where the issue was.
He knew she represented not only a danger to him, but to herself. And I think when you mix alcohol and anger management, she had a couple altercations with the law, so my guess is he was just trying to keep her in check.
I didn't see any altercation with hitting, but my wife has also on occasion. Her hitting him, I don't know whether he's hit her or whatever the scenario is from that standpoint.
I've seen him argue plenty of times. Has it been verbal or physical? Both. It wasn't on his part. So she's initiated it or she's been yelling? Okay. When it's physical, what have you seen? Her slapping him around in the face.
Some of us saw some dangers there. If you would have asked me 6 years ago, did I have any friends whose spouse were capable of killing them, I'd say only one, and that would be Danielle.
How would you describe Michael? He always seemed very laid back. I never saw any kind of aggression or anything. And how would you describe Danielle? Volatile. But I don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Then detectives learn there's been run-ins with the Redlicks in the past, including the year earlier when Michael actually called 911 on Danielle.
911, do you need police, fire, medical?
We need a car here. There's a woman that's a danger to herself and to others right now. A gentleman that's a danger to us.
My sense on calling 911 was to show her that, look, I'm not going to abuse you. I'm not going to hit you, but I've had it.
You better go in your room. Please, Dan. Please, go in your room. Come on. Will you stop? Oh, all right. I will call you back. I will call you back in 5 minutes.
Sir, what is going on there? Hello?
You can see in a domestic situation where someone is looking at their wife acting crazily that they would call police, and because they didn't know what her intentions were, that they wouldn't ask police to come over right away and said he would call them back, but he never did.
This was not Danielle's first brush with the law. She actually was previously charged with getting into an altercation with a couple of deputies. She was even accused of biting one of the deputies, and she received probation.
We started struggling about 5 years or so ago. He started getting some medical problems and ED, nothing like the male ego. Never this. It's been a mental shock.
It's January 2019, and police set their sights on Danielle Redlick, a woman on probation, as they think she stabbed her husband, Michael Redlick, to death, all amid a heated argument in the couple's Winter Park, Florida home. Over the 15-year marriage, this relationship has been rocky for the stepdaughter-turned-wife who says Michael, 20 years her senior, physically and verbally abused her. Police need to determine if there's any truth to what Danielle is saying, so they speak with the Redlick's son, then 11-year-old Sawyer, to get a better picture of what their family life was like and what may have gone down the night Michael died.
How did you get to your friend's house yesterday?
I had a football game last night and I had a sleepover with him.
Was he supposed to coach this morning at your football? And he just didn't show up?
Yeah, no one showed up.
Mike was a Little League coach, and the night of the occurrence there was a flag football game.
How was your parents' relationship that night?
I think there was some tension between them. I don't know what, but I could see the anger.
Who appeared angry?
My dad.
You know, if anybody was toxic in a relationship, it was Danielle. Go back and look at all the things before he came back into the house that night. What did she do to him as he was getting out of the car? She threw eggs at the car. She egged her husband. This is not a sane woman.
Have they ever gotten into arguments that you actually saw them physically fighting?
Yes. They were pushing each other.
Have you ever seen anything more than just pushing between the two of them?
Scratching.
Okay, who would scratch who?
I guess my mom and my dad would push away.
Investigators then learn even more about Michael and Danielle's troubling marriage from their daughter, 15-year-old Jaden.
My parents used to be separated. They're obviously not divorced, but as like a family, we've been through a lot this past year. I know they were kind of in a heated argument this week about something.
Jaden's interview with the police was what I would expect, basically that her parents did not get along.
My dad moved out in April of last year, and he moved back in I think late October. They've always had like an off and on relationship for like I think the past 5 or 6 years.
It's interesting for someone so young that's getting information from both parties. Clearly the father communicated to her that he didn't necessarily get along with his mother, and the mother was communicating to her that she didn't necessarily get along with her father. So she was kind of stuck in the middle.
Last year, my dad met this woman, and my parents were separated at that time, and that was when they were saying, okay, we're gonna get a divorce. And my mom like was really hurt by that.
If you know the people close to both of them, Mike Redlick was not the kind of guy that was gonna be cheating on his wife. No way.
She had like an app on her phone, not a dating app. She showed me the app. It was for like work or something.
She had messages where some gentleman mentioned that he found her attractive and he liked her photo.
Some random guy was like flirting with her or something, but she didn't respond, and my dad saw that, and I think that's what caused like an argument. I have a really close relationship with my mom. She told me that she didn't have anything going on with this guy.
Obviously, this was a source of tension between her and her husband. At some point, she even deleted messages off of her phone. These messages certainly did not help her.
You have mentioned they had fights in the past. Has anything been physical?
At points, yeah.
When's the last time you saw them get into a physical confrontation?
Not for a while. Sometime last year.
Jaden blamed her mom for being the instigator, that if there was any violence between them, it was her mother, Danielle, who instigated it.
In the times in the past that they've had this physical confrontation that you've observed, who would be the more aggressive one to actually physically touch you?
My mom. I've never seen him hurt my mom, like physically.
And it's rare for a daughter to point the finger at her mother for being the violent one, but that's what happened here.
The one time that I saw like a mark on my dad's face was because they were arguing and my mom had a ring on.
Has he ever hit her or left any marks on her?
I think so. I remember just my mom saying my dad pushed her.
Do you think the push was in self-defense because she was coming at him, or push because he was upset at her?
Maybe both.
You had a verbal and physical abuse being alleged, you had cheating being alleged, so you had all this in a combustible mix that led to the tragedy that ensued.
He said to me on several occasions, everything will be okay as long as I hide the steak knives. I was driving from Charlotte up to Cleveland, got a call from a good friend of mine that let me know what happened. They said he was found dead. I was in shock, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised. Oh my God, he didn't hide the steak knives.
Detectives put two and two together, and they begin to realize that perhaps Danielle's story that Michael stabbed himself doesn't quite add up. Maybe Danielle was the aggressor. They begin to build a case against her, starting with something police noticed at the very start of this whole investigation.
Michael was stabbed once in the shoulder, It was originally a bloody crime scene, but when investigators walked into the house, they smelled disinfectant, bleach.
And it was clear that the husband had bled out. There was evidence that she even attempted to clean up. By the time they arrived, and the fact that the wounds had dried, it led the investigators to believe that this had taken place hours prior to her calling 911.
And let's go back to that 911 phone call that Danielle made after the stabbing. There was one important detail that caught investigators' attention.
Did you just find him?
No, actually, it happened last night.
Did you see him last night? Was he okay, or was...
He was not okay last night. We had an altercation.
What is interesting, of course, is that she waited 11 hours to call the police after what was ultimately discovered to be an altercation between the two.
Is there a reason why you didn't call last night?
I'm on probation, and I was really afraid, and I didn't think anybody would believe me.
Her initial story was that he killed himself. Okay, so if your husband kills himself, why wouldn't you call 911 right away? Why would you tamper with evidence? Why wouldn't you call EMS and see what you could do to save him?
About a week after the stabbing, Danielle is arrested for violating her probation. And that's when police press her even further on Michael's death.
You had indicated that you have a lawyer, but again, we want to give you the opportunity to tell your side of the story. It's up to you if you want to talk to us now.
For what? The other stuff?
Yes.
I don't think we need to be living at this point. Oh my God.
But with Danielle Redlick not giving in to questioning, it's the evidence that starts doing the talking.
Detectives focus on the 11 hours where Danielle said that she was hiding in the bathroom because she was in fear of her life. Meanwhile, in those 11 hours, she was cleaning up the crime scene. Plus, she was surfing the web on a dating site, looking to meet new men while he's bleeding to death. That's the kind of stuff that makes headlines and will stick in a juror's mind to show that someone has a cold and depraved heart.
She did all types of odd behavior. But I just want to point out that it's not absolutely dispositive because we all react differently. Taking of a human life is one of the most traumatic events that one can engage in. And it's very difficult to know what normal behavior is. So it's kind of a mixed bag here.
About a month after Michael Redlick's death, Danielle is officially arrested and charged with murder and tampering with evidence.
Danielle was charged with second-degree murder, which doesn't require premeditation. It could just be that she killed someone with a depraved mind, but didn't necessarily plan it in advance.
It's then, when Danielle is locked up in jail, that she does something which raises even more suspicion.
I told you that I had the plea offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was basically they dropped the charge to manslaughter 10 years. According to, my lawyers, it was a good offer, but then today it seems like they had bad news. They're like, well, no, the plea's not, he doesn't want to negotiate the plea now, and now he wishes he didn't give it to you.
Most of us thought, this is an airtight case, and she's going to be found guilty. If anything, maybe they let her plead out to a lesser degree. That offer was on the table.
Danielle made the decision to decline the manslaughter deal, where she would have served 10 years in prison.
There's some evidence they keep getting, but it's just stuff they took out of his desk when he was writing down stuff about when I had filed for divorce. Michael was so angry, he was keeping a log of stuff, he was just being vindictive, oh, today Danielle did this. And it's like, all this stuff this did to me. I better not share too much, but there's something really bad about him that he did when he was younger. They're trying to keep all of that out.
She obviously thought she could convince a jury that she believed she was in fear of her life. She could use Michael's past against him.
Then he got all these hearsay stuff from people they were talking, he was talking to at work that don't even know me. Oh, well, Danielle had problems. Meanwhile, this son of a is drinking his ass off, smacking me around, smacking the kids around too, going at it with me, Well, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't stepping forward because they didn't see anything. No one sees the abuse. I was mentally abused, psychologically. I'm not kidding you. Sexually. I mean, he was mastermind.
Keep in mind that even when one pleads self-defense, they are not claiming that they did not kill someone. They are merely saying, I am not criminally liable because I had to kill this person in order to save my life.
They had another stupid charge in there for tampering because there was so much blood when I was trying to, anyway, without saying a lot, I was slipping on it, so I used a towel. So they were saying, that kind of thing could be tampering. So that's kind of BS. The max for that is 5 years alone.
She was also charged with tampering when someone dies. The police have to conduct an investigation. So it's a crime to impede that investigation and tamper with the crime scene.
When you walk into a crime scene, you smell bleach, generally that's tampering with the evidence. And so that's the one that all along we knew she would be convicted of. The bigger question is, would they get her for murder?
To put a mother and 4 kids in jail after her husband died, it's fabulous. It's really great karma for you guys. I mean, I know you're doing your job, but at the same time, I have had no chance for defense or anything.
In June 2022, prosecutors are set to bring Danielle Redlick's second-degree murder and tampering with evidence case before a jury for the death of her stepfather-turned-husband, Michael Redlick. Investigators believe Danielle stabbed him after their 15-year marriage turned to arguments and alleged abuse. Up until now, not much is clear of what actually went on in their suburban home the day of Michael's death, but it was at trial where new details came to light.
That defendant plunged a knife into the shoulder of Michael Redlick, which would cause him to bleed to death. The home that she is standing in looks like something from a horror movie.
The prosecution's strongest evidence at trial was the argument that manipulating the crime scene, hiding the crime, evidences a guilty mind.
This defendant did everything she could to avoid responsibility for her actions. The evidence will show that she engages in a significant but failed attempt to clean up the scene.
Danielle's alibi never made any sense. She only claimed self-defense after she first said that Michael had a heart attack or that Michael stabbed himself, which is really bizarre.
Based on all the information that you had from the 911 call, your conversation with Miss Redlick, did you believe her to be claiming that Mr. Redlick basically brought about his own death?
Yes.
Did the autopsy results as shared to you by the medical examiner give you reason to believe that that was not true?
Yes.
Danielle kept changing her story. How can you dispute the fact that you had someone who claimed to be a victim of domestic violence, who claimed to be acting in self-defense, who then didn't claim self-defense when she spoke to law enforcement?
Did you actually locate some evidence?
Yes, I did. There was towels that were piled up next to the stair. There was a mop that had blood on it and a bucket full of pink liquid by the stairs. There was also knives. There was a knife in the doorway, knives in the kitchen sink.
I think the prosecution relied more on the physical evidence of her manipulation of the crime scene than anything else.
Prosecutors also tried to show evidence of problems in the marriage. An email from months before the stabbing from Danielle to Michael was particularly chilling.
I know I'm bitter at times, I admit, but you have a lot of nerve as well. Although my words may be cutting, they are only sounds, a dull knife compared to the sharp, disloyal, deceiving, phony, and never-ending, selfish knife you continue to twist in my back. Of course, someone would be messed up, traumatized, and may act out.
She used a large knife to stab Michael to death, who then slowly bled out for the next 11 hours. It looked like someone who wanted Michael dead and was trying to hide her tracks.
Then it comes time for the defense to show jurors that Danielle killed Michael in self-defense.
Everybody thought it would be a layup, but the one thing they were worried about was how people would portray Mike. If I'm the defense attorney, I'm going to paint this story about this guy that married his stepdaughter, right? We're going to make him look like a predator that was abusive.
January 11th, 2019, someone was very, very angry. This someone started to physically attack their spouse. They had rage. They were choking their spouse, smothering their spouse. That someone was Michael Redlick, and Danielle Redlick had no choice but to defend herself because she was afraid she was going to die.
The other argument for self-defense is that she stabbed Michael in the shoulder. It wasn't a kill shot. What you would normally think of as an attempt to murder someone would be in the heart.
Yes, Danielle Redlick did stab Michael Redlick. Danielle Redlick knew and recognized that the danger that she was facing that night was different than the other incidents of abuse that had happened throughout their marriage.
You can see why jurors could buy the story that she acted in self-defense because she had a prior complaint of domestic violence against Michael.
At one point during the trial, Danielle Redlick takes the stand herself, telling the jury her version of events the night Michael died.
Ms. Redlick, on January 11th, 2019, did you stab your husband?
I did. Yes.
She got to take the stand in her own defense, and there was no one there to defend Michael because Michael's dead.
He was suffocating me. I couldn't breathe, and he had me pinned down. Well, I was scared, and I was just in fear for my life. I thought he snapped, and I could die.
Did you have any choice but to use a weapon to get away?
No.
She is painting a story that isn't true. She's using her manipulation to try to convince the jury that she's the victim.
I walked through the kitchen, and that's when he comes up behind me and grabs me. I just trip up on my feet and I fall to the ground. At that point, I grab the center island and I reach up to pull myself up to face him. So he grabs me here and slams me down onto the center island counter.
There were times we said, Mike, now you've never hit her when she starts going off the wall. His response was, I just put my hands up for self-defense.
He called me a and he was holding my head down on the counter. So I'm just pinned up against the counter like this, and he's straddling my body here and has me pinned. I've got a free arm here, and the drawer in front of me is the only thing I can do. So I use my free arm to push open the drawer ahead of me.
I think he was just trying to hold her back, talk her down off the ledge, and she got carried away and she killed him.
Pulled the knife out, he released my head. He says, what, are you gonna stab me? And I take the knife and I position it and face it toward him. He immediately just goes for my chin and pushes me back, and I stabbed him at that point.
Prior to stabbing him with a knife, are you able to remove yourself?
No.
Are you able to get out without using a weapon?
No, I was trying.
What are you trying to do?
To get away from him.
Why? If you don't do that, what is your belief that will happen?
That he might smother me to death.
Danielle was the best witness for the defense. She advocated for herself.
But prosecutors still needed some questions answered.
A life without Michael Redlick was a life that you were looking forward to living.
Well, a life at peace with Michael Redlick.
You wanted a life beyond Michael, correct?
Yes, at that point, yes.
If a defendant can stand up against cross-examination, I think it can really hurt the prosecution's case.
So you stood in that home with the power to call for help, and you let your husband bleed to death on that floor.
He had already bled to death. I was wondering if I could recover him or something.
Which one is it? Is he dead, or you think it's possible to save him?
Well, if he could be recovered, something would have to be done immediately. And so, yes, I thought perhaps I should do that.
So in these fleeting moments you think Mr. Redlick can be saved, you choose not to save him.
I wouldn't put it that way, no.
When someone waits 11 hours to call 911, she was no longer in fear of her safety when he was lying on the floor bleeding to death. And yet, she let him die while she was surfing the web looking for dates.
Standing there, having mopped up all that blood, taking all these towels and soaked them through with Michael's blood. You thought that it was possible he had died of a heart attack.
Thought there was a possibility.
You did not believe that your husband had a heart attack, Ms. Redlick.
Actually, I did. I was hoping, too.
You were hoping?
Not in the morbid sense that I wanted him dead, but...
If he had a heart attack, you wouldn't have been responsible for his death.
Yes. To an extent.
Juries, I think, are rather sophisticated, and I think that she really helped herself by getting on the stand because it provided her with an opportunity to tell her story and to talk about the tumultuous relationship and to explain why she took all the actions that she did.
My understanding is that you have reached a verdict. Is that correct? Yes.
Once the case was finally handed over to the jury, it took them just 4 hours of deliberating to come back with a major decision.
Verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Verdict as to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of tampering with physical evidence.
I was sad. In my opinion, justice wasn't served, and I couldn't believe she got away with it.
You have to respect jury decisions. These are 12 men and women that give up their time to do their civic duty, and I'm not in the habit of questioning a jury's decision. It's a very interesting decision. It's very interesting that all these things can occur and someone can clean up a crime scene after killing another person and be acquitted of murder. It's not something that we see often at all.
Danielle Redlick dodges a conviction of second-degree murder, but is sentenced to almost a year in jail for tampering with evidence with credit for time served.
The jury decided not necessarily she was innocent, but the jury decided that they didn't have enough evidence that she was a murderer beyond any reasonable doubt. So in the end, she bet on herself and she won.
Mike made one mistake. Wasn't being a good father, wasn't being a good husband, wasn't being good to Danielle's mother. He married his stepdaughter. Should have never have done it. If we could go back in time and talk him out of it, I wish we had that opportunity.
With her jail sentence completed, Danielle Redlick is released from custody on 12 months probation.
My focus is trying to be there for the kids. What would Mike want me to do? He'd want me to, help take care of his kids. Just thinking back of how much pride he had in both of them. He'd be bragging about the kids got an arm or how well Jaden was doing in school. I'm very proud of his kids. And it was just getting to know him before he ever met Danielle. He would come to our house. And the way he treated my kids, my kids thought the world of him.
There's still a little bit more to this story. So Danielle's daughter, Jaden, absolutely ripped into her mother in a letter to the court saying she wants nothing to do with Danielle. She wrote, quote, "You may all be fooled by the incredible mask this woman presents to you all, but I am not." And Jaden even asked for a no contact order for her and her brother Sawyer, but it appears that wasn't successful. Look, the truth is, the jury, they believed Danielle Redlick's story, yes. But what's left in the wake of this whole case is unfortunately a broken family. That's all we have for you here on this episode of Prime Crime, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, stay safe. On Prime Crime.
I found she's not breathing.
Who is it that's not breathing?
Her wife.
The untimely death of a young mother sends ripples of sorrow through an upscale suburb.
I tried to pick her up. She's dead. I was screaming, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Somehow I'm still thinking that She's going to be okay.
As investigators unearth the truth, they discover layers of deception, obsession, and lurking secrets.
Shanti was ambushed, was blindsided, never knew what was coming.
She was a very great woman. Everything about her was outstanding. Could never expect anything to happen.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime, where we break down the most compelling and memorable true crime cases from across the country. In April of 2018, a young mom in Orlando, Florida, suddenly dies under very strange circumstances. Is this an accident or something more?
Non-emergency, this call is recorded. Hello?
Why is she not breathing? I'm trying to do CPR. I can't
Okay,
get her
listen to me.
breathe. I need help.
You? And who is this?
This is David John.
Okay, your name is David. Okay, who is it that's not breathing?
My wife.
Okay, sir, I need you to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
That's the voice of 49-year-old David Tronis. He calls 911 to report he came home to find his wife, 39-year-old Shanti Cooper Tronis, dead, face down in the bathtub in the garage apartment of the couple's upscale home.
What happened?
I found her in the shower.
And she passed away? Is she awake right now?
No.
Is she breathing?
I can't wake her up. I tried to do CPR. I can't get her to breathe.
Can you get her out of the shower?
I pulled her out.
And you don't know what happened or when anything happened?
No.
Back on April 24th of 2018, David Tronis called 911, seemingly hysterical.
Has she been sick or something?
Yeah, she's been sick, yes. Oh, God, what happened, baby? Baby.
She had appendicitis a couple months earlier and had surgery that she had some difficulty recovering from. First responders think that they're going to be coming into an accidental death or a fall or something like that. Shanti was found on the floor next to her bed. They can just immediately tell that this is not a fall. Rigor mortis had already started to set in.
Her right arm was up unsupported, up off the ground. She was lying on her back, and she was lying on a mattress pad that was full of blood.
She had some very unusual abrasions on her in very unusual places, on her hands and her knees.
She'd been beaten and strangled. She's pronounced deceased immediately.
The attack was so brutal that it blew a hole in her cheek, ripped off portions of her ear, fractured the back of both of her eye sockets, and broke her nose. She was manually strangled. Shanti was ambushed, was blindsided, never knew what was coming.
And this unexpectedly brutal scene leads detectives to believe something more is going on.
One of the things we both noticed about the bed, not only was it hastily made and the sheets were different colors, they were white, but they almost looked like brand new sheets on the bed that were crisp white and still had the creases from the box. There was cash in plain view, her purse was open in plain view, and no credit cards were taken, no cash was taken, nothing else of value was removed. Shanti was a 39-year-old, very beautiful mother. She was a professional woman. She had worked for a software company that built manufacturing software and then started her own business. She had a nanny that would assist her not only with Jackson, but also with her business.
She really liked to spend time with her family. She also loved her job. She loved what she did. Can't tell you what she did at all, but she definitely loved her family. She loved our dogs. We loved theme parks. We'd always go to theme parks, once or twice a month. She was scared to go on a lot of rides. She chickened out like 4 times, but she still went.
When work was done and we were able to relax, it was relaxing. Barbecues on the lake, just hanging out with friends, their kids, Jackson. Nothing crazy, just when it was time to relax, that's what we wanted to do.
I kind of day she was having, she'd always have a smile on her face. She wouldn't let the bad things that happened that day affect the moment. She was a very great woman, and everything about her was outstanding. She was just overall the best mother that anyone could ever ask for.
Now, detectives need more answers as to what happened to Shanti, and they want to hear from David Tronis, so he's brought into the police station to talk.
Where were you born, hon? Here?
No, I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota.
And when did you move to Florida?
In 2013, 5 months after I met Shanti.
Did you meet her here or there?
We met online.
You met online? Okay. I'm sorry. Take your time.
He worked in Minneapolis as an engineer. David ultimately was divorced and met Shanti online. Their relationship evolved very quick and led to David moving from Minnesota to Orlando to be with Shanti.
You said something about having a great weekend?
Shanti had her appendix out on February, I want to say 23rd. And she's been in a lot of pain. I'm sorry I can't talk about her. I've never been more in love. We were so happy.
Shanti was a hardworking mother. They were both coming out of previous marriages back when they met. By all accounts, it seems like her and David were very much, in love or in that sort of honeymoon phase.
Hi, family.
My dad has. I have to go.
He's right here.
Because my dad gets off early on his new job.
Okay. He's probably today. I don't know. We'll find out.
Love you, Dada. Bye.
Love you so much, Jax. Have a good night tonight, okay?
I love you.
David worked back in Minnesota. Since he moved down to Florida in 2013, he didn't work at all. Her background was in finance and accounting. She had her own company.
She was very successful. She had been previously married to Jackson's father, Jim Cooper. They had been divorced about a year or two at the time that she met David.
She had recently divorced Jim, Jackson's dad. It was beyond acrimonious. I mean, they were at each other's, for quite a while.
At each other how?
Vindictive and mean and nasty things to Jackson, and kind of thing, and blaming each other.
You always, in any investigation, start at your inner circle and you work your way out.
We don't believe she was alive on Tuesday morning, so it was important where Jim was the night before.
Jim ended up picking up Jackson and bringing him to the house. He shows up and there's all these police there. So we had quite a long, extensive interview with Jim. We were able to vet everything that he told us. So we absolutely had to rule him out.
On that day that it happened, there was almost a chance that I didn't pick him up. He would have been in that home when this happened. And I can't imagine.
Police know Jim didn't hurt Shanti. The question is, who did? To answer that, let's go back to understanding David Tronis's timeline of events.
Tell me about Monday night. What happened?
We were getting ready to go to bed at midnight. We sleep separately most of the time. She has really severe sleep apnea.
So where would you sleep?
Downstairs on the couch.
They wanted a complete renovation of the main house, so they were living in the loft above the garage. So he would often sleep in the garage with the dogs.
You wake up Tuesday morning, and what do you do?
The pool was full of leaves from the magnolia. I cleaned the pool out. She said she was going to try to sleep in a little bit, so I didn't. She came down after 7 o'clock, probably. She said she wasn't feeling very well. She had chipped her tooth the day before, and she had made a dentist appointment this morning, but she said she wasn't sure if she wanted to go. And she came down again. I'm so sorry.
He said she went back up and came down a second time, and then went back up and came down a third time around 9 in the morning, and still had not showered yet or was not ready to leave for her appointment.
She has all this pain, and she just no-called and no-showed that appointment that she made the day before. That doesn't make any sense.
And then I put the dogs in the car and went to clean to Park of Americas before noon.
Do you see anyone at the park that you know?
I don't.
David said that Shanti went on with her day. He went on with his day by taking the dogs to a dog park and is unaccounted for several hours.
So you think you got home about what time?
2 o'clock. I put the dogs in. I kennel. I feed them. We have construction starting in a couple of weeks, so I'm cleaning the courtyard. I cleaned the pool out again.
And what happens when you enter the home? Is anything unusual?
I could hear the water is running. I just walk upstairs. I didn't hear her. She's not saying anything. Doesn't seem right.
David told the police that at about 3 o'clock he went upstairs and found Shanti face down in the bathtub.
She's submerged partially. One of her legs is kind of sticking up and out a little bit. The water in the tub was tinged with blood. I pulled her out into the other room. I didn't know what to do. At first I tried to do CPR. She was still. I was losing it, and I thought I was losing her.
Her body is stiff. This is clearly a person that is beyond CPR.
Her clothing is wet?
Yeah. When she felt cold, I tried to lift her head. She's not responding. She has blood coming down her face. So I grabbed the mattress cover and put it under her head. I wiped her face off again. I started crying. Somehow I'm still thinking that she's going to be okay.
It is a chilling account, but upon a careful review of the details, a few things start to stand out.
I tried to pick her up, and she's stiff. I'm kind of moving her, trying to shake her a little bit and trying to get the water out of her lungs. I didn't know what to do.
April 2018, Orlando, Florida. 49-year-old David Tronis, a self-described contractor, says he found his wife of just 1 year, Shanti Cooper Tronis, dead after a fall in the couple's garage apartment bathroom where they'd been staying temporarily while their home was undergoing renovations.
Here's the breezeway. Here is the house.
However, detectives quickly determined something about Shanti's death was not adding up.
So the last communication in any way on the phone would have been Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, you would have been pretty much together.
We're together all the time. So
okay. All right, so...
This is hard because I'm concerned that she wasn't okay when I left. And I wish I would have taken the time to check on her.
Her iPhone last moved at about 11:30 p.m. on April the 23rd. Shanti was a busy businesswoman who was involved in lots of meetings and discussions and calls, and her phone remained in the same place on that nightstand the entire day.
When was the last time you had telephone, text, on any Facebook, any sort of communication via phone with Shanti?
The day before.
He knows that Shanti is busy, but he also knows that Shanti has a broken tooth. But he never texts Shanti, never checks in. For about 4 or 5 hours, David's cell phone is quiet and in essence dead to the world.
And one thing investigators quickly home in on is David and Shanti's living situation.
We closed on the house on Copeland in April of 2015. We didn't move in right away. It took a few months to work on it.
David was able to buy the house for $608,000 in cash. It's a historic home from the 1920s and became the focus of David's life through the renovating of the house.
So you closed in May of 2015 and you started doing work. Was it in the condition that it's in now? Was it under renovation or?
It was fully livable. It was just an older Victorian style home. And Shanti wanted to completely open it up on concept. As we got into it, we found more and more issues.
You guys have completely gutted it down to the studs, pretty much.
Yeah.
As time progressed, there was a bunch of renovation plans. The entire living space of the house, the kitchen, the living room, all of that was completely, essentially destroyed.
David's job basically was to be the contractor for this renovation. He had convinced her that he knew what he was doing. And after hiring and firing subcontractors for almost 2 years, I think she realized he did not know what he was doing. So someone in the neighborhood had recommended to both of them that they call this particular builder who was on this TV show.
I'm basically the general contractor for the project. I'm hiring subcontractors, and I hired a consultant to help us do that.
And who is that?
His name is Keith. Keith does a TV show. In March, he asked us to be on the show.
They had a meeting the week before her death, and she was dismissive. She did not want to come down to the pool area and meet with him. Maybe perhaps she wasn't as interested in doing the show as David was.
When talking about that day and about Shanti and about their relationship, David was somewhat reserved. When detectives would talk about things such as the house, his demeanor completely changes. He becomes very calm, but engaged, animated, really wanting to talk about this house and the improvements and the role that he played.
Has there been work crews at the house?
We finished the demo and started the framing that you see in January. We did the foundation in November and December. It's been moving slowly, but it's a huge project.
We kept an open mind the entire time, where the construction and the contractor is a possibility, where the worker is a possibility.
They followed up to see if there was an issue with potential transients in the area because there was a hospital nearby. They took DNA, they took latent prints, and ultimately, none of that came back to anyone except for the people that lived in the home. So there was just no indication that this was some random stranger or anything like that.
David ends up making several strange comments about his relationship with Shanti that raises serious red flags.
David was volunteering how much he and Shanti were in love and really wanted to paint a picture of a remarried couple who was blissfully happy and talking about the rest of their lives.
And we just felt like we found this great rhythm, and we were both really, really happy. We were talking more, and it was great. We were really, really, really happy. And Saturday night, I think, was the first night that she really enjoyed just being kind of out and relaxing a little bit. Since her surgery, we haven't been able to have sex, and she wanted to try, and we did.
He offered up to us without asking that they had been intimate on Saturday and again on Sunday. We both keyed in on that because we did not ask them about their sex life. I'm sitting there looking at him thinking, what is he trying to say?
It was messy. It was very messy.
So are you saying that blood got somewhere?
It did get on the bedspread, and it did get on the side of the bed, on the sheet.
It was a very unusual statement. We tried to narrow down where he meant we would find blood on the bed. He just kept saying it was everywhere, it was everywhere. That was an indicator to us that we needed to look further on that bed.
Is there something covering that up now or no?
We changed the sheets.
So there shouldn't be blood on the bed now, or is there?
There shouldn't be. She was bleeding when I brought her out of the tub. I would guess there is blood there. I would guess there is. I would guess there is still. We picked up the sheets and we wiped it off.
If you pull apart that interview and you look at the things that he said, he's trying to cover it up. He's trying to explain it away before we find it.
They go back on multiple search warrants and they find blood on the bed rails. It looks like it's been wiped on the visible side, but you can see where it had run down and hadn't been wiped on the side that you wouldn't see just looking at it with a naked eye. So it's just one of the 1,000 little pieces that come together and paint a picture of a person who's not being truthful.
Talk around in circles. Trust me, the evidence and her body speak for itself. And your story is BS. You either made a mistake or you're a cold-blooded killer.
Which one are you?
It's April 2018, and homicide detectives in Orlando, Florida are questioning 49-year-old David Tronis over the suspicious death of his 39-year-old wife, Shanti Cooper Tronis. He says he came home to find her dead in the bathtub, a standard slip and fall accident. But the evidence isn't adding up.
Did you two argue?
No, absolutely not.
Did you harm Shanti in any way?
Absolutely not.
Did you choke her?
Absolutely not.
Did you strangle her?
Without question, no.
Shanti did not fall and get those injuries.
Okay.
Without question. When was the last time the two of you argued?
Very briefly on Saturday.
If Jackson felt like you two argued about the house routinely, is that accurate or not?
I don't think most of the time that we're arguing about it. I can understand that might be his perception.
Has any fight ever turned physical between the two of you?
No.
There were fights and arguments about the home renovation and the money involved, and it was pretty clear there was a financial aspect to this.
The injuries that this woman sustained, absolutely 100%, in my opinion, not possible from a slip and a fall in a bathtub.
David reported that he found Shanti in the bathtub full of water and then took her out of the tub in order to give her CPR.
There was no water anywhere. There was no water puddled on the bathroom floor. There was no water marks on the carpet where she would have been dragged from the bathroom.
Using some luminescent chemicals, they were able to see that there had been blood in the tub up to a certain line. They were able to find some latent prints around the tub and on the door frame that ultimately came back to either Shanti or to David.
For you to see the significance of her injuries up close and personal like you did and come up with this cockamamie theory that she fell and hit her head is just baffling to me that you thought we would believe that. You strangled her. There is no one home but you. This is not looking good for you.
I have never, ever, and would never, ever hurt her.
We always say the body doesn't lie, but people do. Her injuries and what had happened to her in that house was not lying to us. And the evidence doesn't lie, but clearly he was.
Despite all of this, there's still not quite enough evidence to hold David Tronis. But months later, investigators learned there was a different side to his life, one that few knew about.
State your full name.
My name is Arthur Adams.
We are now at the 7-Eleven. You work here?
Yes.
And you have a second job as well?
Yes.
There were definitely indicators to us that there was possibly trouble in the marriage. We learned from canvassing the neighborhood that David had a whole other life. Where is that?
At Club Orlando. It's a gay men's gym spa.
Is David a member of the club?
Yes.
How many times in the last 18 months do you think you've seen David on average?
Like at least twice a week.
And the last time you saw David at Club Orlando?
Maybe 5 days before the murder.
David's life was one of smoke and mirrors, of using people, of denial of reality. David never referred to Shanti as his wife, but only his partner. This was something that stood out as being questionable as we later investigated and found David's complete second life, including trips to the men's bathhouse just 2 miles down the street from their home. It definitely raised the suspicion of whether David did have a complete second life unknown to Shanti.
You know, in your heart, what happened. And you know what the right thing to do is. What happened to me, David?
Orlando detectives know there's still work to be done to nail David Tronis for the murder of his wife, Shanti Cooper Tronis, who he says was found dead in the bathtub. And it all comes back to one key piece of evidence.
Where's your wedding ring?
Pardon me?
Where's your wedding ring?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
It's right here.
She has a wedding band on her left hand?
Correct.
So today she had on her wedding ring.
Correct.
One thing that the detectives noticed when they arrived on the scene that night was that Shanti didn't have her ring, and her ring was not accounted for.
And Shanti wore her wedding set every single day. So for her not to have it on when we observed her body, there could have been a number of explanations for that. When we asked David, he's saying it's on her finger, and we both knew it wasn't.
Ultimately, we found it in his possession, in his bedroom, in a suitcase at his mother's house.
And the first thing that came to my head was checkmate. We found the trophy that David kept from that day. Now, was it a remembrance of the relationship they had? Maybe. Was it a remembrance of being able to do and get away with this crime for months and months? I think that's also likely.
With holes in Tronis's story, forensic evidence, and a very telling crime scene, detectives have enough to arrest and charge David Tronis with first-degree murder. But it's something that happens nearly a year later that brings the case to a stunning conclusion.
I got a phone call from David's criminal defense attorney. He realized that he had an item of physical evidence in his possession.
He had an attorney pretty much the day after her body was discovered. We put a camera on the house within a few days of her death, and the camera captured 2 private investigators removing evidence from the house. One of the things we were looking for from the very beginning is what I like to call blood spatter at inception. So where did this event occur? And if there was blood on the mattress pad, there should be blood on the sheets. And there was no blood on the sheets on that bed. His first set of attorneys hired the private investigator to remove the sheets from the home. The sheets had been laundered to the point where if you saw them on a search, you wouldn't think they were bloody. Once we got them, we spread them out, and you can see blood spatter, likely where her pillow would have been.
The Orlando Police Department asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to conduct an investigation about the concealing of this evidence. And ultimately, decisions were made by the state attorney's office to not file charges against the initial defense attorneys.
But David Tronis's case didn't happen right away. As his defense initially argued, he was not competent to stand trial.
It was extremely difficult for so long. So many hearings, it was all about him and his rights. And it didn't really seem to be about her.
When I started going to hearings around the 3rd or early 4th year of this being dragged out, I brought a picture of my mom to every single hearing as a reminder that even though she's not here physically, she's always with us. I also held up her picture at the end of every hearing just to show you that it's just more than just a name on a paper and more than just a news headline. She's more than just that.
We were going to keep making sure that everybody would see her face because we weren't going to go away.
5 years after Shanti's death, in October 2023, prosecutors finally get the chance to lay out their case before a jury.
Back in 2013, David Tronis moved to Florida to be with Shanti. When he moved to Florida, he was able to purchase a beautiful, large home. David and Shanti would argue and bicker about the home and the construction and what was going on, and her not having any ownership in the home.
There were indications she was funding that renovation, but he was very much treating this beautiful $500,000 residence as his and not as theirs.
The house is everything to David. It's his identity, it's his passion project, it's really the focus of his life even more than his wife. He loved that house more than anything else. Shanti controlled the destiny of that house. And how desperate was David to make sure that the renovations went through and his gem was polished?
As the house became progressively more and more unlivable, that caused an obvious tension in the relationship. This home show was the lifeline out of this mess with this house that they've dug themselves into, and she, a week before her murder, was not into it.
The likely motive, I think, is he had an alternate lifestyle where he was behind her back seeing men, and then One of the last things that he had tried to do right before we arrested him is he had made a request to get her life insurance. With all of the accounts and the life insurance, he stood to gain over $1 million.
This was a murder of rage, of anger, of extreme violence. The only reasonable explanation for Shanti's death is sitting right there.
The state starts presenting their witnesses, from David and Shanti's friends to neighbors and experts.
As a couple, did they appear to be affectionate towards each other?
No. I never saw them hold hands, touch, kiss. It was a little strange.
Were you ever made aware of any tensions related to the house that they lived in?
Yeah, I mean, it was, being that it was under the renovation, there was a lot of tension, a lot of fights.
When he walked alone, did he have any canine companions?
Almost always.
Now, on April 24th of 2018, did you see either Shanti Cooper Tronis or David Tronis, the defendant, walking?
Yes, I saw David.
Did he have any canine companion or companions with him?
Not on this day.
A local neighbor told law enforcement that she was coming home from the grocery store and saw David walking alone in the neighborhood. Police showed a picture of David that day to the neighbor, and the neighbor said that David was wearing different clothes at 12 p.m. than the ones that he was wearing at 4 p.m. You know, it's little facts like that that really stands out when you have somebody telling a story that doesn't match up.
Row 13's entry, according to E&F, is 4/23, 2018, 11:19 p.m. There is no other entry until April 24th, 2018 at 10:11 p.m., correct?
That's correct.
So this device registered no distance, no steps, essentially 23-hour span of time.
Yes.
Shanti had a step tracker on her phone that recorded, her going up and down the stairs. She always had her phone with her. There was no steps tracked of her at all on April 24th. And that doesn't fit with his telling of that day. There's evidence that she got a text message, work-related, very early in the morning, about 6:58, that she never read and never responded to. The theory was that this attack either happened around midnight when she was going to bed or early in the morning as she was getting up.
This kind of is a theory, but if she's seated on the edge of the bed above where the blood dripped to the slots, when she is removing her right earring, she's looking possibly at David. And maybe they're arguing over the renovation, or maybe, the relationship is ending. But the moment she goes to her left earring, her head would have been turned away from him. And so if she's starting to remove this earring, that's when she takes this blow to the left side of her head. She never saw it coming.
Was there anything other than the defendant's statement to you and Detective Sharp that indicated that Shanti Tronis was alive past the steps the night before at 11:19 p.m.?
There's nothing that indicates any sign of life past Monday night.
But the defense paints a different picture without calling any witnesses of their own.
They would have you believe that this was an unhappy marriage, that they lived separate lives, that the marriage was crumbling. This is a case about a rush to judgment. It's about a sloppy investigation. It's about circumstantial evidence. All this financial motive, it's hooey.
The theme that the defense tried to develop was police didn't do a thorough investigation, and they targeted David.
You're not here to play detective. You're not here to solve a crime. You're here to determine if the government has proven the crime that they have alleged. That Shanti Cooper Tronis was murdered, and David Tronis is the person that did it. Submit to you they did not. Let's go to April the 24th. Did you tell him that this was a domestic violence assault before even speaking to Mr. Tronis?
No. I told him that the husband was the one who called us and that what his statements were. No, I did not indicate who was responsible for her death. We didn't know.
You were suspicious, though, weren't you?
Of the story, of the inconsistency, yes, of course. They basically blamed our investigation and said it was lacking in substance and that we had made a lot of errors, that the police investigation was shoddy.
Isn't it true that you developed Mr. Cross as a person of interest or suspect from jump? That you didn't believe a word out of his mouth?
That's not true.
Did you prejudge him for the lack of emotion?
No, I did not prejudge him for the lack of emotion. Her ex-husband was just as much of a suspect as he was, but you have to be able to eliminate people, and you have to start with the person who called 911.
You became concerned with some of the details you noted at the crime scene, correct?
I became concerned with some of the details I noted in the crime scene. As discussed, no water, no wet, those things, yes.
No, detective.
I became very concerned with inconsistencies, yes.
As this case developed, there was no real coherent defense. There were no facts to establish any other identity of any other person. No pry marks on doors to show a burglar. No stolen valuables. No evidence of animosity or bad relationships with Shanti and other people.
During that trial, it was long days. We didn't sleep at night. When the jury got the case for a couple hours, that seemed like an eternity. They kept coming back with questions, and we were trying to decipher what they meant. That really made us crazier than we already were.
After nearly 5 hours of deliberations, the jury returns their verdict.
State of Florida versus David Tronis. Verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. So says we all.
In that moment when the verdict is actually announced, it's like time stops. And I remember looking over at Jackson, and he waited for that day for so long. And in the span of 90 seconds from when the jury entered the room to the verdict was read by the court clerk, justice was delivered for him.
My heart was racing like a couple 100,000 paces a minute. But when I heard the verdict, I was overjoyed, and it was probably the best moment of my life.
The night of the verdict, we were walking to the truck, and Jackson was shrugging his shoulders. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I feel lighter, like a weight's been lifted."
David Tronis is found guilty of first-degree murder and faces a possible life sentence in prison.
To me, the greatest satisfactions in this case was David having to be faced with the truth of what he did.
When this parasite came into our lives, he took something from us, and most importantly from Jackson, and what he took is not replaceable. He lost a good parent. It is still unfathomable to me what he put Jackson through.
I couldn't look at him. If I looked at him, I would do something I would regret. And I wouldn't say his name. He doesn't deserve that. He told a lot of lies. So I just wanted to set the record straight and let the judge know that it needs to be life without parole.
My mom was the best person I ever knew. She worked a lot, but she never put her family over work. Early 2018, she was taken from me and my family. It's like a hole in my heart that I can't fill or fix. She didn't die peacefully. She did not deserve anything that happened to her that night. She was the best mom I could ever ask for.
The court will adjudicate you guilty, will sentence you to life imprisonment.
David took control of so many things. He took control of the house. He took control of finances. He took control of how long Shanti lived.
Personally, I'd like so people to know how hard of a worker she was. She knew how to get stuff done, and she did it with 100% precision. She was very good at what she did. She was more than just someone that was murdered.
If it can happen to her, it can happen to anybody. If one person hears her story and might think they're in that kind of a relationship, then maybe they can get out before it's too late. And then that would be something positive that came from her memory.
We both worked as hard as we worked on this case for Jackson because of the tragedy to that little boy, for him having to grow up without his mom. There's not a day that goes by that they won't grieve for her that grief is really just love with no place to go.
In the end, this case largely centered on the house and the remodeling and the arguments. We're fighting for the house for Jackson so that Jackson can decide at some point in the future what to do with this place that brought the worst incident that he'll ever have in his life. And whether Jackson sells it or whether Jackson takes a sledgehammer and knocks it to the ground, our fight now is to give Jackson control of what happens to this place.
Kind of weird, you know, having the same routine for 6 years, then all just suddenly being over.
It's like a new normal. We have many more good days than bad days now the trial's over. We just had Mother's Day, so we went to the beach and the flowers in the ocean, because she loved going to the beach with him. We talk a lot about her, just try to honor her memory.
It was a long road for Shanti's family to finally see justice for Shanti's murder. And while David Tronis fights his case on appeal, he sits in prison. The man who wanted to have it all now has nothing. That's all we have for you here on this episode of Prime Crime. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jesse Weber, and until next time, stay safe.